Look at Hazel Green now. Morning light spills across fresh painted brick. Porches breathe again. Footsteps return to sidewalks that once forgot the sound of company. There's laughter rising where silence used to live. Music drifting through open doors. Hands rebuilding what time nearly carried away. You can feel it, a stirring in the hills, a heartbeat pressing through the quiet. For years this little town rested in a kind of stillness. Storefront windows stared out empty. Dust gathered where stories once gathered. The roads led elsewhere, and too many followed them. But something is happening here now. Old buildings are standing a little taller. Neighbors are remembering each other's names. Hope, once whispered, is being spoken out loud. It feels like a beginning. But before I can tell you about the rebirth, before we walk these brightening streets, before we celebrate the return, we have to go back, because towns don't fade without a reason, and they don't rise again without one either. So let's rewind, back before the quiet, back before the empty windows, back to the days when Hazel Green first found his voice. And to the moment it nearly lost it. Only then can we understand how a town learns to breathe again. Hazel Green's story begins long before paved roads or modern towns. It was founded in the early 1800s. The name came from the hazel shrubs that grew along the hillsides. And in 1829, a post office was established that first bore the name Hazel Green. At the time, this was a rugged and isolated place, part of a newly forming region that would soon become Wolfe County in 1860, just on the eve of the Civil War. But in the meantime, it was part of Morgan County. In those early years, Hazel Green was little more than a rural settlement along a railroad track, known by some as Trimble's Store, a stopping point in the mountains defined by small farms, timber, and survival. But by the 19th century, something unexpected began to happen. By the early 1880s, Hazel Green was transforming. In 1885, the town printed its first newspaper, the Hazel Green Herald, a remarkable achievement for such a small and remote community. The paper captured everything from local gossip to violent feuds to the first town hanging, reflecting both the promise and the hardship of Appalachian life. At the same time, businesses grew. Stores, mills, and trade gave the town new life. For a time, Hazel Green rivaled the county seat of Campton as one of the most important communities in the region. But its greatest transformation came from two powerful forces, education and tourism. Just outside the town, on the border, a natural wonder drew visitors from across the Kentucky and beyond, including big names such as Mark Twain. At Swingle Springs, mineral waters believed to have healing properties sparked a resort boom. According to legend, the Swingle family discovered the healing properties of the springs when they were treating their pet dog for mange. Later on, they found that the healing properties of the spring were able to heal minor irritations of the skin, so they bottled the water. This later became a business that included hotels, resorts, and even an entertainment venue. By the 1890s, 3 hotels and multiple boarding houses welcomed guests seeking health, relaxation, and escape from city life. The springs turned Hazel Green into a destination. Travelers arrived, businesses thrived, and the town briefly became a center of regional tourism, an unlikely resort town deep in the Appalachian hills. But like many booms, it wouldn't last forever. A devastating fire destroyed the largest hotel in 1910, and while the mineral water continued to be bottled for decades, the golden age of Swingle Springs slowly faded. Also in 1880, the same year the town began to rise, a bold idea took root. The Hazel Green Academy was founded by local leaders including John Day, William O. Mize, and Greenberry Swingo. What they created was extraordinary. At a time when much of eastern Kentucky had little access to formal education, the academy began the region's first college preparatory school, serving students from across the mountains and beyond. It earned a reputation as the Mother Mountain School, and even the Athens of the West. Students lived, worked, and studied on campus. They farmed land, attended classes, and built a community centered on opportunity.
My dad was the boys' dorm director, and we, as a family, lived in the apartment in the backside of the boys' dormitory. And I know I lived there up until almost going to kindergarten because we moved, and I lived somewhere else while I was attending kindergarten. But this is a picture of me, and you can see the old boys' dorm when it was active and up and going. So yeah, I have a real deep root and real deep feelings for this community. And the old water tower, ever since I was little, I always would say, that's my old water tower. I'm home.
Local businesses and families were able to thrive during the time of the Academy.
Everybody came to the country store, and so a lot of things, transpired in that store. There was an Ale-8 pop cooler where, you would set the temperature just so when you open that long neck bottle of Ale-8, a little bit of ice would freeze in the top. That was the proper way to consume an Ale-8. And they'd always talk about that. You'd have to get the temperature just right, typically about 36, 37 degrees, so that would occur. And the coldest, that was one of the things he always said. He had the coldest Ale-8 in town.
There was hospitals on the campus, and even the county's first water tower. Over time, the Academy grew into far more than a school. It brought electricity, healthcare, and even a library to the town, becoming the beating heart of Hazel Green. Dr. Blood was one such doctor on the campus of the Hazel Green Academy. He was a surgeon and ended up being one of 2 doctors to have a special kind of incubator for premature babies in the state. For decades, it defined the town's identity. But the forces that built Hazel Green would not sustain it forever. As the 20th century progressed, new highways bypassed small towns like Hazel Green, railroads declined, timber resources dwindled. Free public education spread across Kentucky, reducing the need for private institutions like the Academy. Tourism faded, industry slowed, and slowly, quietly, the town began to shrink. The Academy, once the pride of the mountains, struggled to survive. After more than a century of service, it closed its doors in 1983.
There isn't as much here, obviously, since the Academy closed, because that brought a lot of people in. We usually had over 100 that started the year, and then sometimes it would go down to 90-some. We had students coming from all states.
Today, Hazel Green is small, just a quiet Appalachian community along winding Kentucky roads. But its story is changing. The old Academy buildings are being rebuilt, and something new is coming to Hazel Green. For years, Hazel Green felt like a place caught between memory and silence. The building still stood.
The old jailhouse, are you all familiar with it? I played in that jailhouse. I literally, they were cells that were still in that jailhouse. And we played in it. And my grandma, it was right behind her house. And it was unreal. That's what made this town what it is all the older things that was actually here before my time. And we just loved it so much that we wanted to just stay here in this town, and did.
The road still wound through the hills, but the energy that once defined the town had faded into the past. It would have been easy for Hazel Green to disappear quietly. Another Appalachian dying town remembered only in photographs and stories. But that's not what happened. Change didn't come all at once. It started with people. Families who stayed, families who returned, and strangers who decided to make the town home. Even families from far away, drawn by something they couldn't quite explain. Like the family behind Soap Shack Farms, who left California behind for something slower, more grounded, safer, and more real.
But in about a month, we'll have a lot of baby goats. How many? 6? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are pregnant. And they can have anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 babies.
In the hills outside town, they began building not just a business, but a life. Handcrafted goods, local roots, and a belief that Hazel Green still had a future. And they weren't alone. Across Hazel Green, the past is no longer being left behind. It's being restored. The old Hazel Green Academy, once the heart of the town, is finding new life again. Its buildings, once filled with students, are being preserved, reimagined, and brought back to life in the community.
If we can get a roof on this in the next couple of years, we can save it.
Okay.
The boys' dorm is all poured concrete, so the walls are great, but the roof is gone. But there's still potential for 2 more buildings to be saved. And there's great potential for brick and materials to build some wonderful things in the town where the Academy started. And so that's what we're trying to do with the nonprofit and with the people in the community. So anyway, we'll see. So Jesse Taylor Day was one of the founders. And when we bought the house, it was missing a lot of stuff. Had been taken out or rotted down. And so part of the flooring in your bedroom is from the girls' dorm. So the man who built the house started the school. The school was wonderful for a while, and then it went away, other than the memories. And so then the church gave us the building to try to clean it up. It's a huge liability. It's going to cost a fortune to tear it down and salvage what we can and get rid of the rest environmentally safely. But the floor will always live in the guy's house who started the school.
The Day House isn't the only building to include parts of the old academy. There are hopes to use parts of the gymnasium in the future to help create the Trimble Day Park that will be used by the community for events and festivals.
We talked about maybe selling the brick of the gymnasium somewhere else. To me, the children that went to school at this academy made those brick and fired those brick, so the bricks should never leave this little town. If somebody wants to do something, build something, this material should be in this little community. It should never leave. And you see the tuba trails in the ceiling here. Those are good enough if we can extract them without anyone getting hurt. Those will build us a beautiful gazebo down in the city park where we can have live music in an incredible place, and hopefully it will have a thatched roof and it will be decorated like a Celtic community that we may have seen 100 years ago in Ireland. The windows, after the Christian church actually voted unanimously that Linda and I could have this building and the girls' dorm to do with whatever we wanted to do with it. We came in here, and then I go to the administration building and I take my tape measure and I measured, and then I came back and measured these windows. And it's like they're square and they are the right dimensions in both directions. And I wasn't convinced. And I came back a week later and measured both of them again. And then maybe a month later, I came back and measured them 3 times before I was totally, absolutely satisfied that these windows could go in the administration building. Now, the reason that I would want to use these windows in the administration building, the Christian church and the people in Hazel Green that went to church here, and some of the people that went to school here, they paid somewhere $700 or $800 for each of these 2 double-pane windows. But now the replacement cost is over $1,000. So there's like 27 windows in this building that Barbara Stone actually paid $120 a window out of her own pocket. She wouldn't even let me write her a check for just one window. But she paid the Amish $120 a window to take these and put them in the administration building. So now the administration building has a new roof and these absolutely beautiful windows that would have cost them $27,000 if they had to buy them again.
Nearby, historic homes are being saved one by one.
I think, honestly, it started with the Day House. I know I can't remember, even as a child, Hazel Green was my hometown. I literally grew up in Hazel Green. And I don't ever remember anyone living here as a child even. And the fact that the home was vacant for so many years, and to see it being brought back to life and to be able to serve tourism, with it becoming a bed and breakfast. I'm very optimistic that things are really, really going to change for Hazel Green in a positive way.
The home is becoming a Celtic bed and breakfast, a place not just to stay, but to experience something unique, a blending of Appalachian roots and something older, deeper, and filled with the love of the history including those of the people who once lived there. When Linda Bowen will often read poems of Elizabeth Day to the guests to make them really feel like they are part of the history of the town and the house.
Very private. She had 2 severely mentally handicapped little boys. And back then you didn't really have the support that you needed for children that have special needs. So she was kind of private. And so you hear a lot of stories about, how she was uppity. I don't know that she was. Certainly the house was built sparing no expense. It's gorgeous. The intricate details are wonderful. But I think she was a really special lady. She left us with a poem about this house, and she told us how much she loved it. And so
Hazel Green isn't just being rebuilt, it's reimagining itself. The town is becoming something unexpected, a Celtic village inspired by deep cultural ties between Appalachian traditions and Celtic heritage. Music, storytelling, craftsmanship. Thoughts that never truly left, now being brought back to the surface. This new identity isn't replacing the past, it's giving it a new voice. With that vision has come new energy and new opportunity. The roar of engines returns with the rebirth of the 191 Speedway, bringing crowds, excitement, and life back to the area. At Three Roses Barns, celebrations are taking root again. Weddings, gatherings, moments that bring people together in ways the town hasn't seen in years.
But now we decorate pretty much all the old stores and CNC and the firehouse too, and help people decorate. And we made cookies and helped make food, and also dressed up as the Grinch, surprisingly, for over at the big tree. We set up a tree for Christmas and decorated. We've done that for 3 years now?
Small businesses are opening again. Ideas are turning into reality. And slowly the quiet is being replaced with something else. Possibility.
I want a chocolate shop. I want Hazel Mountain Chocolate in Ireland to make a satellite store right here, or teach me and let me have this chocolate art. We have a lot of talent in the Appalachian Mountains. We have a lot of talent.
Yes.
We have writers and musicians everywhere. It's nothing for us to sit outside at the picnic table in the front yard and people come up with their dulcimer or their guitar and we're playing music in the front yard. And the artwork is incredible. So I want an art shop. I want people to see the talent that they have here. I want the kids to be able to work here and live here and stay here. And it's really good because...
But maybe the most important part of Hazel Green's story is who's shaping it now. Kids growing up in a small town aren't just watching history happen. They aren't leaving on the roads that lead elsewhere. They're helping restore buildings. They're working alongside their families. They're seeing firsthand what it means to build something from the ground up.
Well, we went and talked to the governor, Judge Chevrolet, and he's changed 2 things so far of that objective. We had fix a baby swing, get a baby swing because they don't have the locking ones. They just have like big kid swings and the babies couldn't swing at all, and they would get hurt, and that's not good.
For them, Hazel Green isn't a story of what was lost. It's a story of what's being created. And with that creation comes celebration.
The first time she saw the Christmas tree lit up in the parlor of this old house, she pulled off the road and cried because for 26 years, which was most of her life, she had never seen a light on in this house. Now there was a couple that lived here, but they lived in the back of the house and they only lived in 2 rooms. So most of the house was dark.
With new amenities like a sewage treatment plant and broadband internet, more and more businesses are coming to Hazel Green, and families are able to stay because of the access to clean water and other things that you would find in large cities.
There's been years of systematic oppression of the people of Eastern Kentucky related to the coal industry and so other many things. Eastern Kentucky was seen as an area where we stripped away its resources to benefit the rest of the Commonwealth and the nation, quite frankly. and very excited. My vision shares with the vision of some other people here. We want to see Eastern Kentucky to really grow, to prosper. We want it to be seen as not an area where we send our best and our brightest and our best resources to benefit other parts of the world, but we want them to stay right here at home.
Well, not only with the preservation of the historical homes and the Hazel Green Academy, but the sanitation board is trying to get a sewer plant just for the Hazel Green area. So I feel like with all of those things, it's really going to put Hazel Green back on the map and really, again, showcase everything that Hazel Green has to offer.
Gatherings are turning to Hazel Green in parks that are being built right now. Music echoes again through the hills. Stories are being shared. Laughter fills spaces that once stood empty. The kind of moments that define a town, not in history books, but in a memory.
People are planting flowers, they're painting houses, they're cleaning up around the buildings. If you look at a picture of Main Street in 2017, you will see things sitting out on the sidewalk that shouldn't be out on the sidewalk. And if you look at it now, you can walk on the sidewalk. We don't have very many sidewalks, so it's really nice that on that one you can get by.
With the town cleanup and new opportunities arriving, new families have arrived in town, but more than that, there are also new cultures coming to town. The Amish have arrived in Hazel Green and started a local restaurant where people are able to come and try homemade foods that the Amish make on site. Hazel Green is still small, still tucked away in the hills of Wolfe County, but it's no longer fading, it's becoming.
I think it's a new chapter. Like I said, I think Hazel Green has laid dormant for a long time. And over the last several years, new life has been breathed into the community. And I love the fact that so many community members are getting on board with this, and they're actually taking pride in the town and in the community. And I'm very excited to see what happens.
The town is still here, it's still alive, and it's getting better every day, and I think it's going to continue to improve every day. And I love to see that, because this whole town is my life. I would never leave this town. If I do, I'll be back, So I'm not ever going to leave Hazel Green. In the next 10 years, 20 years, I don't think you'll know this place. It'll be gorgeous. I think people know this town was like it is. I don't know if you could get enough places for them to live.
Now look at Hazel Green once more. Not as it was, not as it nearly became, but as it is, and it is choosing to be. The light still finds the brick each morning, but now it lingers, as if it knows there are stories here again. The porches are no longer just wood and nails, they are gathering places. The sidewalks don't just carry footsteps, they carry intentions. The music drifting through open doors, it isn't just a melody, it's memory reclaimed. This town has learned something about itself. It has learned that decline is not destiny, that silence can be broken, that empty windows can fill, that the roads leading out can also lead home. Hazel Green remembers now. It remembers the hands that built it, the voices that shaped it, the seasons that tested it, and the stubborn, quiet faith that refused to leave, even when so many did. What has nearly slipped away has become the reason it stands stronger, because the town is more than brick, more than storefronts, more than the rise and fall of industry. A town is breath, shared between neighbors, its laughter echoing off hills. It's the choice, again and again, to stay, to rebuild, to believe. Hazel Green did not simply wake up one morning restored. It chose to return to itself. And in doing so, it offers something rare in our time. Proof that revival is not a miracle. It's a movement, slow, human, possible. So when you walk these brightening streets, when you hear the music, when you feel that stirring in the hills, know this. You are not witnessing a comeback. You are witnessing a community that remembered who it was and decided, together, to breathe again.